Good evening, everybody. I hope this is all working. Welcome to yet another experimental live stream in more than one way. The, there's a couple of things I'm doing that you may or may not be able to tell. The first of those is the microphone on the webcam. Now, um, what I've done is set it up. There's a mode which I didn't know existed because it's not available, as far as I can tell, in Linux, called voice isolation. And an experiment earlier seemed to reduce some of the echoey quality that I would otherwise get with this particular microphone. The second thing is I'm not actually using a green screen. Um, and I want to see how well it works. And to be honest with you, this is profoundly irritating because I went to green screens are not necessarily cheap. I got the one that I usually use at about £70 off. And it's been very useful. But I discovered that today, that in fact, again, through OBS, I can put a background on the video capture, that is the webcam itself. And it occurred to me that if I put a solid color in the background, I could use a chroma filter just like a green screen, because the actual removal of the background and everything except me is done through, well, it's either done through OBS or it's done through the webcam itself. I'm not actually sure which. So, I mean, to me, it looks fine. Yeah, you can't see my chair, but I don't sure that's necessarily a bad thing. But then the subject came up in my mind, if I'm going to do an experimental, what is it I'm going to stream? Now, this is my streaming, or my future streaming computer that I'm using, which, as the title suggests, is an M4 Mac Mini. Baseline edition, the cheapest I could get. I actually got it, an Apple refurbished 2024 model. So that's 16 gigabytes of unified RAM, 10 CPU cores, 10 GPU cores, and a 256 gig hard drive. Anytime you, of course, increase those, the costs go through the roof. But all I needed it for was streaming, and in that role, it seems to do extremely well. But because I am a gamer, of course, I couldn't help but resist putting a few games on. One of those was Sky, which I have streamed. Works surprisingly well. But the other one, of course, was Minecraft, which is what you're seeing on the screen. This is the Prism launcher. And then it occurred to me, of course, what kind of performance do we get? Now, you've got to bear in mind one thing, that the frame rates you'll be seeing are significantly reduced from what I would get if I was actually streaming, but I don't think that matters too much. So this is vanilla. I can demonstrate that it's vanilla because we can have a look at the version. We can have a look at the mods, resource packs, shader packs. Everything is plain Jane vanilla. One thing to note, which I was absolutely delighted by, was that the Java version is actually for ARM. Yeah, it's an Arch 64. So this isn't the normal, in quotes, Java version, but I was going to install that, but I didn't have to. The system did it automatically, which was awfully nice. I believe you can run in quotes, regular Java. Um, and that works through Rosetta, but I haven't tried that. So let's have a little look. Here's my, yes, I know, I've already ignore this. That's for reference. So let's have a little look and see what kind of performance we get while I'm streaming at 60 frames a second, hopefully. And here's the seed I've been using for this purpose. And we are getting 74 odd frames per second, which isn't fantastic. But, you know, if you want to have a general fiddle around, that's not too bad. I can tell you that if I were running and I wasn't streaming and I was running on a 2560 by 1440 display, I would get about 132 frames a second at this point with plain vanilla, which is all right. Now, this particular scene is actually quite busy, as you can see from the jungle there off to the left. But if I look up at the sky, you can see, you know, the frame rate goes shooting up reasonably well. I haven't played a huge amount of Minecraft in the last couple of years. I kind of regret it. So this isn't a bad little test so far. Now, if you do have a slowish system, first thing you normally do is you start putting performance mods on it. The original performance mod that I used was Optifine. Optifine I have not used in a long time. I'm not going to be using it today because the last time I tried getting it working with Prism Launcher was a bit of a pain. But a lot of people have switched over to using Sodium. So what we'll do is we'll stick Sodium on, see what that does for performance. Download mods. Oh, forgot. Forgot to add a version. Install loader, and I almost always use the fabric loader. Okay. Silly me. So, Sodium. And typically, if you're doing Sodium, as I'm sure many of you will know, oh, actually, I forgot. First thing you do is you want the Fabric API. And then, of course, we want Sodium. And we want 3 mods for Sodium. We want Sodium, Sodium Extra, and Reese's Sodium options. Here we go. That was simple. Hopefully it all works. Let's launch that. That's not the only mods we stick on for performance, but that's what we're going to start off. And to be honest, while I have some idea, I don't know what to expect. I don't necessarily have a definitive idea. And the thing about the Sodium suite, shall we say, is that it doesn't affect the gameplay experience. If you want vanilla, you've got vanilla. It looks like vanilla. It behaves like vanilla. The only difference being we've gone up to 9900 frames a second. That's not bad. You know, we picked up 40%. 40%? No. I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. More than that. We picked up about, what, you call it 35 frames a second. 50%. We got a 50% roughly 50% speed increase. Now, I can tell you that Um, this is therefore quite playable. You can actually do a lot with fairly low frame rates if you are careful about what you build and where you build it. But that's not bad, 100 frames a second. Okay. That's the first option. The second option is something a little different. I don't know how many people use it, but it's been around for a while. So what we're going to do is we are going to disable Sodium, and we are going to install Vulkan. Now, this is actually kind of appropriate because Mojang announced that they're going to be switching over from OpenGL to Vulkan to better support some graphical updates they're going to be doing in the future. So let's stick Vulkan on here. So we'll stick, whoops, I can't spell Vulkan. And there is this one, not enough Vulkan. This is essentially, this does for Vulkan what Sodium Options does for Sodium. Right. Sodium, all this is disabled. Let's see how this behaves. And looks exactly the same, loads in, 120 frames a second. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, this is somewhat unusual. We've just doubled our frame rate by switching over to Vulkan. My normal experience on a Intel / AMD type CPU is that Sodium gives you better performance than Vulkan. When I first tried this out, which was literally earlier today, I was really surprised that Vulkan, if you're running on an M series Mac, Vulkan, on the face of it, would appear to be the way to go. I mean, now granted, that's only what, another 20 frames a second, but I mean, that's 20% faster, which means you can do more. But we're not quite done. It's gone down to 30 because I'm not moving. This is obviously not survival mode. There we go. Now I can see what's going on. But there are some other options. Now, these may or may not make any difference, but they are common to Sodium installations and Vulkan installations. So, why not? Let's take a look. At this point, I'm going to have to go over to this one for a second to figure out which mods I use. We're going to not worry about that. I'm not going to put ferrite core immediately fast to lithium. Okay. Ferrite core is a memory optimizer. It works with both. Yeah, memory optimization. We also want immediately fast. The other one we want is lithium. Yeah, game logic optimization. Probably isn't going to make a huge amount of difference, but worth having. Oh, and I want, what's it called? Lux. I can't remember what it's called, but we'll stick those on, see how this behaves. Yeah, I doubt we're going to see a huge difference because of lithium, but I would actually be surprised if we see any significant difference just by looking at the one scene. And I can set up Vulkan to display the frame rate and coordinates just as you can with Sodium, but I'm not touching it right now. I'm just going to leave it default. Hasn't made any difference. 122, 123 frames a second. It'll make a difference when you have more lighting effects, when you're doing more stuff. But the good news is it hasn't affected my performance at all, which is nice. That's what we want. Hang on. Let's just have a little double check here. So we're getting up to 120 plus 122, 124. Okay, call it 120. What happens, out of idle curiosity, let's disable Vulkan and put Sodium back on just to see if it makes any difference. I don't expect it to. Back in the day, the three mods you used to put on that were must-haves for performance were sodium, lithium, and phosphor. Most with the phosphor and starlight are not really used anymore because Mojang updated the lighting engine, and all of a sudden lighting performance mods became kind of redundant. And it hasn't affected sodium performance, which is good. I mean, you don't want to see it affecting sodium performance, which is great. Doing well. But I'm obviously going to put... Now, there is a problem or a downside to running Vulkan. Zero's mini mods will crash. It won't give you a warning. It'll just crash. So you can't do that. If you want your map display, that's not going to work. The other issue is that shaders don't work. You can't run shaders. This isn't a problem on this particular system. I would not dream of running shaders on a baseline M4 Mac Mini, but it is something to bear in mind that, I repeat it, shaders do not work with Vulkan. I am not aware of a single one that does. This actually is going to be a bit of a problem when Minecraft updates to using Vulkan rather than OpenGL. Because, yeah, everything's written assuming OpenGL, including shaders. By the way, if anybody watching could let me know how the sound is, I would appreciate it. Don't think it's quite as good as my old Blue Yeti, but still. So that's your typical performance mods. I'm sure there are others that you could try and squeeze in. There is actually a mod pack for Vulkan. I have tried it. It does hinder performance. So you get the boost from Vulkan, and then performance drops off. But there's other stuff I like to stick on. I mean, actually, I can show you. Let's go take a little look. Because that's pretty much the performance aspect of it. Let's go and find a cow. Or a sheep. Is this a cow or a sheep? That's a sheep, isn't it? Hello, Mr. Sheep. Yep. You know, all very normal. They've added in some nice colors. They've changed some of the chickens around, you know. But we have sheep. Let's see if we can't improve them somewhat without actually affecting the nature of the game. Are there some subtle changes that can be made to improve our sheep somewhat? And our cows. And our frogs, because of course we are. Oh, is that a swamp? Oh, it's a swamp biome. Oh! Wow. Swamp biomes absolutely hammer your frame rate. That's actually pretty good. So, I haven't really done a huge amount of checking around swamp biomes lately, but I've seen them seriously tank your frame rates. So this is actually a very good test then. I thought this was a jungle. It's not. It's a mangrove swamp. Which explains... Well, it doesn't explain anything really, but still. Where was I standing? I was standing about... not sure what really matters. Oops. Yeah, that is a real challenge. I don't know they ever optimized it. But let's see if we can't improve our mobs a little bit. Well, obviously we can, otherwise I wouldn't be asking what is obviously a rhetorical question. So in fact, I'm actually going to move that and that and that. Because the mods that we want now are entity mods. Yeah. These two. The Vulkan mod actually uses... do you know what? Yeah, in fact, I'm going to have to double check. The Vulkan mod actually does include entity culling, so you could either use their own algorithm or try this one. We'll give that a bash in a bit, see what happens. And we're going to need a couple of resource packs, and I'm sure some of you watching this later will know which ones I'm going to use, because it is in fact fresh animations. Hang on. And fresh animations extensions. That gives you everything. There we go. And I think you'll agree that this is well worth it. I happen to love fresh animations. It is not completely unsuitable. It looks pretty good. And we'll go see what it looks like. Let's go and see if we can't find one of our sheep again. And I think you can start. Oh, no. Oh, you can't, can you? Oh, so far it looks exactly the same. All right. What we're going to do is add in our resource packs. And my understanding is you want this one above that one. And all of a sudden, you've got a little bit more detail. Not a huge amount. And the eyes are a bit squiffy. But it, to me, it still looks like Minecraft. And it adds just a nice little level of detail. We have a cow in trouble. Come on. I haven't done. Let's get you onto shore. There you go. Come on. There you go. There you are. And I think it is an utterly worthwhile addition to the game. Now you may be saying, well, come on, does it affect performance? To be honest with you, not substantially. I mean, you're not going to see a difference from here. I'd have to set up a much more stringent test to find out. But if I run up there, we are still running. In fact, we're running slightly faster, probably because of the time of day. So it hasn't, their inclusion has not affected their performance. And this would be, now, there are other things we can put in, of course. In fact, I might well try some of it and see how it works. Is this a pig? Oh, that is a very cute little pig. Are you going to look at me? This is having a head in a block. Yeah, that's a cute little pig. And there's the falling leaves. And we're still running at, yeah, and you can see that effects are starting to, but we are also closer to the swamp, which is going to have one heck of an effect. I mean, that I'm still getting 60 frames a second and I'm looking at a swamp isn't bad, in my limited opinion. Now, you may be wondering, well, okay, in this same scene, and I wish I could show you, but I can't on this stream. What kind of performance do I get on my main gaming system, the one I normally use for streaming and gaming? Well, trying to remember, vanilla gets me 400 to 500 frames a second, but I can't remember. I think that's at 32 chunks. This is actually only 16. This is the default for fancy. Let's go and have a look at the this over here. And yeah, they have eyes that move. They've got different walk animations, somewhat improved. He looks like he's really not happy with my presence. Hello, sheep. Did you just drop off? Yeah, if I'd realized, and I didn't, that this was a mangrove biome, I wouldn't have used this for the demo, but it's a useful thing to have. I hate these in terms of performance. The other reason I hate them is you can have anything hiding behind any tree at any time. I wish Dream would do a manhunt just in the swamp biome. But this isn't bad. It has to be said. You know, I mean, I know it only says 72 frames a second. Trust me, vanilla would be a lot worse. Don't forget, this isn't a hugely powerful system, and I am streaming at the same time. Now, I can tell you that that same scene I was showing you earlier with all these mods running will give me 225 frames a second. So streaming does significantly impact performance, which of course is to be expected. Hello, Frog. Especially at 60 frames a second, I suppose. But there is more that we could conceivably do, I think. I'll give it a try. See if I can remember the name of the mod. One of the issues, I say issues, with Minecraft and Hightail and Vintage Story. I stream Vintage Story in the mornings during the week, by the way, is terrain generation. Everything is one block, but there is a mod which improves on this quite substantially. I can't remember where I was originally standing, but we'll take a look at it. And that's a chicken. I do like the fact that they've added stuff like this. Hello, Mr. Chicken. Or is Mrs. Chicken? Or Miss Chicken? I don't know. So, is there anything else we can add? Well, actually, do you know what I forgot to do? I need to make a note of that seed, don't I? Because I'm going to need that. I'm going to try and recreate the same world with a slightly different terrain generation engine. See how that works. Something just laid an egg. So what we are going to try here, and I'll see if I can remove, it's called can't spell. I think it's counted to terrain slabs. I think it's that one. Yeah, I think that's the one. Hopefully it doesn't crash on me. Actually, do you know what? I can double check. Give me a second. I should be able to check on this system over here. Where is... I don't know. Yeah, I'm just going to check my Prism launcher on my Linux system. Let's see. It is... Which one is it? Counted terrain slabs. Yep, that's the one. Is the correct one. I have never tried this with Vulkan, so cross fingers. All right, let's create a... Right. Let's see what we get. Now, of course, we have ended up on the same cliff. Let's go take a look and see what our performance is like. I'm running. Oh no, okay, it's settling down. Same. Might have cost us a couple of frames a second. That's all right. I don't care. That's. Now, it's not made a huge difference to the clips, obviously, but this is why I like it. You end up with this much smoother looking environment that you can just run over. And I think this is something that really should be included ASAP, because it can make a huge difference in the way things look. Yeah, you can just, it just makes a significant difference to the experience, and everything else is unchanged. Hello, stop trying to butt me, Mr. Sheep. It still looks and plays like vanilla Minecraft. It's just that now everything is just a little bit smoother, which personally I think is fantastic. I don't know what anyone else thinks, but I think it's fantastic. There are some scenes, particularly actually rivers, beaches. All of a sudden, it looks. Now, I know, it's still a block game, but I think it looks much better. You now get a much better feel that, oh yes, we're traveling down a river. I know it sounds silly when we're traveling down a river anyway. But I consider countered terrain slabs to be a very well worthwhile add-on to give you an added fluidity to the terrain, let us say. I won't say more realistic, it's a block game, for heaven's sake. But that's not a completely inappropriate word for it. I think it's completely inappropriate. I think I love this mod. In case anybody's wondering, I'm playing with the dreaded magic mouse. You can, in fact, play quite well. Minecraft works very well with the magic mouse. Not all games do. Sky works very well with the magic mouse. Better than a traditional mouse. Honestly, I prefer, for most other games, I would use this, my very old and distinctly worn, although you can't see it, MX Master 3. Because I like the side buttons, I tend to remap those for jumping and crouching. But yeah. So is there anything else we might like to do? I wasn't actually intending going this far. I was just going to do the Vulkan versus Sodium and say, oh, look, Vulkan is better on an M4 Mac Mini, which it demonstrably is. But there are a few other mods I am increasingly liking that really I cannot help but feel should be in the standard game. Yeah, so terrain generation, definitely. The improved, the fresh animations, yes, that should be in the game. I think it makes a subtle but really, really worthwhile difference to the game. Uh, there are some mod packs, resource packs that dramatically change the mobs, and I don't like them. If you ever tried Ardercraft or Conquest, is it Conquest? Not Conquest. Yeah, Ardercraft incorporates Conquest Reforged, doesn't it? Um, I don't like what they've done to the animals in that, especially the villagers, because they got the that just looks weird. It doesn't look very good. We have a lava pool. Now it has to be said, as a game experience, for a new world, this actually plays pretty well. We in the past have been used to stuttering and staggering as you fly around, whether it's with Elytra or in. Oh, I forgot they did that. In case you were wondering, and if you were present, and you might see it if you hang around long enough, the intro and intermission and end scenes were actually made, I think it was with Artacraft. It almost doesn't look like Minecraft anymore, except if you look closely, it obviously is. Did you just flick your ears at me? I think you did. The fallen trees, of course, I don't remember when they were added. I'm actually surprisingly out of touch with Minecraft, especially since I started streaming. Um, it's not my intent to make streaming Minecraft a regular thing. Minecraft has been done to death. I think it's far too late for somebody like me to get into the Minecraft streaming scene. Ooh, they have the tail flick. That's a nice little one. Did you just knock me? You did, didn't you? But there's a few other things we can stick in here, which are useful. Hello. Somebody walk on there and collapse. Huh. And you can see one of the terrain slabs there. That looks like half gravel. But we're not quite done with this. There is more that I find personally useful. We are now going beyond the original purpose of this. The first of these is sit. Allows you to sit. And I wonder if Panda's Falling Trees has been put in. It appears Panda's Falling Trees has not been put in. That is the best one. I tried some of the other Falling Trees mods, but I've tried this one too. I didn't particularly like it. Pandas, if Pandas comes out, then I'll go for that. But the other one that's actually kind of cool is Crawl. I have no idea if they work with Vulkan. I can only hope that they do. Let's have a little look and see what our frame rate is like. 150 frames a second. That's not bad. And I can tell you, if I wasn't streaming, I wouldn't be at all surprised if that was more like 250. You can do a lot with 150 odd frames a second just looking at a scene. If that's what you're getting, if you're into redstone, you can work with your builds to distribute them so that you can get a nice solid 60 frames a second. But let's see if I can remember how to sit. Let's see if I can get sit working. There we go. Ah, that doesn't look like much, does it? Oops. Yeah. Now you've got a proper sit. And that sounds really silly, doesn't it? But I really like this. You can sit on any quarter block, I think on stairs as well. It's a subtle improvement, but I think it's well worthwhile. Now, I'm not sure about crawl. You use shift to stand up. So what I'm going to do is, I think it's under keybinds. Crawl, not bound. Oh. Anybody? I didn't know C was used for anything these days. Oh, save hotbar activator. Okay, let's reset that. Oh, hang on a second. Right, where was I? So I want C for crawl. Okay. Debug crash copy location. I'm not sure that's going to bother me too much, is it? All right, let's find something else. Pretty certain I've done this before. I'll put it to something else. I will do right shift. There we go. That makes sense. I think. So what does crawl do? Well, I'll show you. Oops. That's what crawl does. I don't know about you, but I actually kind of like that. I don't know if it actually makes you harder to see, but oh, you'll notice I'm getting 217 frames a second. But okay. I don't know about you. I like that. I have no idea whether or not it hides your name tag as holding shift does, but I would imagine so. Right. So those are the things these days, if I were to start setting up a world, I would pretty much automatically stick into a modern version. I would like pandas sprawling trees. Um, that's where the thing falls over and then all breaks apart. The others don't seem to do as good a job. That's just an opinion, obviously. But pandas sprawling trees, yeah, I'd like that. But yeah. Anyway, hey Danny, how are you doing? I'm fiddling around with Minecraft just as an experimental. As I was explaining earlier, um, I have there's a setting for the microphone, which is still the webcam microphone, called voice isolation that I thought might be worth trying. It sounds better to me than on than off. And the other thing is, I don't have a green screen. It turns out on OS X or Mac, if you prefer, um, I can put a virtual green screen up. It's not called that. It's a background. So, and it isolates you, me, that is, as you see, and surprisingly well. It removes the chair, but it keeps me. Then you can put literally a green background in there, solid green, and then make it transparent, just as if it were a real green screen, except better, because you don't have to worry so much about even lighting. So, yeah, I am just giving it all a thorough check. And seeing as this is what I wanted to do, I needed a game stream. And so I thought I would do this Minecraft video comparing performance mods, which I have now done, and then adding in various other mods that I think should be in the game. Ah, sorry you had a long day. I trust it was fruitful. I forgot to say hello, Peanut, and hello, Lola. Oh, different chickens. Oh, I do approve what they've done with the chickens. The I don't know how familiar, Danny, you are with Minecraft, but the animations are improved, but the actual look is the same. So the textures they're using and the colors are the same. It's just that, yeah, everything else is different. Oh, you know what we ought to do? We ought to go and have a look at the Nether. Ooh, I'm very tempted to go and have a look at the Nether. Oops. Yeah, it's changed. Yeah, I'm definitely curious to see what the Nether looks like now. Mint. Steel. And like I say, if I wasn't streaming, performance is a lot better. But I am actually going to take a quick break. And we shall return to this after I have visited the toilet. So I'll be back in a couple of minutes and we'll go check out the Nether. And the reason I'm doing this is it makes my life a lot easier. Another nice feature I found, sorry, I'm back in case anybody's wondering. Another nice feature that I found that isn't available on Linux as far as I can see is I can exclude OBS from this display. So you just get to see me and the wallpaper. And in case anybody's wondering, this is the Spaces feature of OS X, where you can have multiple desktops, which is a really, really, really useful thing. I think you can do something like that on Linux, but I haven't bothered. All right, let's go have a little look and see what the nether's like. Oh, well, counter terrain slabs works here. Oh, great. If there is a worse. Oh. Yeah. And you can see this is the animation for this has been improved. Hello, Mr. Piglin, zombified Piglin. And see if we can't get out of here. Oh, did it stick me? Did it stick me? Oh, is there a way out anywhere? There's no way out. Oh, this would be a nightmare if I wasn't creative. There's no way out. No, there isn't. This is the worst. This is one of the worst nether spawns I think I have ever seen. Just gonna have to. Actually, what I first will do is, in case you're not familiar with it, these are the this is the Vulkan settings. This is weird. There we go. This is useful, by the way. Having this windowed full screen, really handy. GUI scale, blah, blah, blah. Graphics. This is all default for fancy settings. Optimizations. You'll see what I mean by chunk culling and entity culling. This is why I didn't put entity culling in. It's already got it in here. And I think I found that if I put the entity culling in, it actually slowed it down. So you have to have pretty much one or the other. This does not apply, for that's for Retina displays. There we go. And I do like having that in. Do you know what the other thing I have not done? Is under accessibility settings. It is, yeah, closed captions, which you won't be able to see because chat is covering it up, but I do like having that in there. It allows you to see stuff you might not otherwise notice, especially if you're half deaf, as I am. I might gonna have to go and build another port somewhere. Ah, we have broken out into the real world. And like I say, if I wasn't streaming, my frame rates would be significantly higher. Hello, Enderman. this is darker than I remember. Spears are a thing in the... Oh! Now they carry spears? Oh, that could be terrible news. This is a lot darker than I remember. Graphics. Where's brightness? Yeah. Is brightness not an option here? Brightness. There we go. Is that a button? Yeah. They've just, like I say, the animation, the fresh animations makes a huge difference. Now, I'm going to guess and say if I switch on, what's it, under here, smooth lighting, sub block, that's probably going to... Oh, it hasn't made a huge difference. Probably because I don't have a huge amount to do, but still. Now, Basalt Delta. Ooh, let's have a little look, see what these look like. Hello, Mr. Magma Cube. Oh, look, he's flexible. He's a flexible magma cube. And now we break out into a proper lake. Oh, and look at that. That's changed. That's updated. They got a... Yep, they've got angles now. And a little bit more detail. That's all nice. And a fortress. That's lucky. Wow, this is dark still. Yeah. Just some subtle changes that really make a difference, I think. Well, let's head back to the overworld. So, obsidian, and I want a flint and steel. I am way behind on my Minecraft lore these days. Ah. Oh, yeah, it would put us straight into a geode, wouldn't it? That's a... How many of you have done this, gotten completely lost, and had to dig up through the floor? Ooh, let's have a little look, see what the spider's like. I hope nobody has arachnophobia. Oh yeah, you're definitely a creepier spider. And yes, You've been improved, haven't you? You've actually got a little walking animation now. And the skeletons have a little backpack, a little quiver of arrows. Yeah. Oh, that is cute. You almost look cute, like a jumping spider type of thing. Oops. With apologies to all the undead that will now burn. So what this represents in some ways is, without shaders, pretty much what I would run. The next step for ultra realism, of course, is I don't higher resolution textures, shaders, but this is Vulkan, so shaders aren't going to work. Although, given that Mojang says they're switching over to Vulkan instead of OpenGL, shaders will inevitably get updated, at which point, unfortunately, the Vulkan mod becomes redundant. One of my favorite biomes, Savannah. I haven't actually really had the chance to simply sit and look around at Minecraft and see the changes in some considerable time. But one of the things we can change that doesn't actually impact performance all that much, which I tend to like, is biome blend, if I recall, doesn't change things that much. It just spreads out. You can't really see it, but it has, just switches things over. There is apparently a level of detail mod that works with this. I haven't tried it. There's a couple of level of detail mods out there. I don't like them. Mainly because they have to sort of render everything in. At least the classic one does. It renders everything in and then takes forever as it builds the world around you, and then it sort of works. But I don't think that's how they should do it myself. But it's entirely possible they couldn't find any other way of doing it. What is that? Oh, that's a nautilus. I have not seen one of these. I kind of knew they were in the game, but I had not seen one. Hello, nautilus. Now, the fish have been updated. Hello, pufferfish. I say the fish have been updated. I mean, the entity textures thing has updated them a bit. Who remembers when the oceans were empty and you didn't have plants and kelp? I am sitting here trying to think. Hang on a second. I just realized, of course, given that I have my other computer over here, I can literally have a look and see if there's any other. Oops. So, yes, I'm sorry, wrong keyboard. Literally run up the Prism launcher and see if there's anything else that's worth trying. I mean, there are all kinds of things. You can load on any number. As I said, with um, if you're running the Vulkan mod, you can't run Zero's minimap or Zero's world map. But there are others that might or might not be handy. And I'm looking here. I wish Panda's Fallen Trees had been updated, but yeah, I mean, really, at this point, it becomes a case of, well, what do you want? Uh, the Arda pack, which I'm currently looking at here, and you can't see uh, ambient sounds, Arda grass, Arda mobs, Arda paths. But I'm not sure how well that would work, to be honest with you. I wonder if Arda grass works. I'm not sure. Let's have a look. No, they haven't updated us. That's all right. What else have we got that might be useful? Try and have a quick look here. Partly talking to myself now. Unfortunately, the create mod is no longer is. I don't think that's. I don't think that has been updated to the current version. Distant Horizons, I don't like. That's just me. Yeah. What was the one that allowed you camera utils? No, can't remember what that one does. Ambient sounds, actually, I think could made a difference. And look at that. Ambient environment. I would have this is the kind of yeah, I'm not going to fiddle with that at the moment because that kind of is going to require me to get into a config file. What else is there that I have tried in the past? Let's see what I put in over here. I did put scalable lux in. I didn't. I should have done. Scalable lux is it's one of the few lighting engines that is still going. I think it's actually a spin-off of Starlight, but I could be wrong. I forgot about that. Oops. Oh yeah, it does in fact say Starlight. And I think it works with Vulkan. Hope it does, otherwise this is going to crash in a hurry. I'm going to be really embarrassed. There's nothing worse than having a major crash during a live stream. Unless it's a can of energy drink being spilled all over the keyboard. It certainly doesn't hurt. Oh, look at you. I like the horns. Yes. Ah, and there is one of your traditional chickens, but with fresh animations applied to it. And as I keep saying, remember, if I wasn't streaming, I would probably be well in excess of 200 frames a second, to be honest. That view I started with the mangrove biome nearby, yeah, I was getting 225 for that. So, yeah, I would fully expect far better performance. It has to be said, when you, after having spent as much time as I have recently playing Vintage Story, you can't help but think there should be more crossover. I think just in terms of making it look more like a maybe I'm being unfair. But Vintage Story, with its flowers and its changing seasons, looks incredible. It's still obviously based on Minecraft, but it looks so much better. I mean, I like what they've done in terms of updating some of the animal textures, but honestly, Minecraft as a game has a long way that it could still go. I mean, it's been out since what, 2009? There's no reason why it shouldn't go on for another. Oh, great! How long has it been going? 17 years? There's no reason why it shouldn't go on for another 17 years. And modders arguably lead the way in terms of what should or could be done. And I'm very much looking forward to that. Hello, donkey. Oh, let's see what they did with the bees. Eh, I wish pandas falling trees was in there. That does make a massive difference. Yeah, this I really wish they'd. Maybe I'm being unfair, but I got used to the bushes and the flowers and everything else. And I don't mean flowers that look like this. I mean, they won't call them exactly proper flowers, but it does make for some very interesting scenes. If you haven't seen Vintage Story, go to look at my playlist. I'm still managing to arguably survive. I'm not playing hardcore, so it's not a die and you're finished. But I do have a mental limitation. If I start dying from freezing to death or from starvation, then I will conclude that I have failed in my attempt to survive and restart things. Do you know what? We haven't had any weather. Did they change the rain? I mean, that looks better than I remember. Although, of course, the usual thing is the rain has nothing to do with the cloud cover. So, in case anybody was wondering, yes, I do normally run Soulframe, I should say, at the weekends, and I didn't because I wanted to do this because I wanted to see how the setup for the microphone and for the camera is going. I have to say it works quite well. You don't even look miserable. Oh, you all spawned in because the light level went down, didn't you? Right. I'm not sure, unless I get into testing tree physics, if there's anything else. What else would I put on? I'm not entirely certain. The mods that I've put on so far are pretty. I honestly, when it comes to others, like environmental sounds and what have you, arguably I've gone a bit too far with the counter. But as far as I'm concerned, it still looks and behaves like Minecraft. The baseline Minecraft is still there. And apart from being able to sit and crawl, hasn't really changed. Oh yeah, we're in Savannah. That's always amusing. In Savannah? It's not raining. Is this plains? It's raining. Oh, I want to find a village. Can we find a village? Because I do like the changes that the animations make to the villages. Has anybody seen a village? Wow, this is some funky terrain generation. Actually, did he just walk through a waterfall? Oh no, he walked behind a waterfall. I was going to say. Yeah, let's see if we can find a village, because I do want to have a quick look, see if anything's changed there. I dislike. I mean, okay, it's not fair. I say I dislike the mangrove swamp biome. I don't like it because of the way it absolutely hammers your performance. The other reason I don't like it is you can literally have a zombie hiding behind a tree within a few blocks of you, and you don't see it until it's too late. It's arguably one of the more dangerous biomes in the game. Maybe telling me I can't find a village. Ah, the moment I say that, there's a village. Just gotta have a little look and see what the animations are like here. Where is everybody? Oh, have they got that fixed? Ah, that's interesting. They removed that. They used to be one of the improved animations used to twitch the chests. Oh, new villagers here. So, here we go. Yes, I'm taking the side of the villagers. Go away. Yeah, so you can see the changes they've made. They still look like regular villagers, but they've got eyebrows and their eyes move. I think that's much better. I think it's better than something like Artocraft. Is it Artocraft? Yeah, where they've basically pasted somewhat realistic faces onto the villagers, and it really doesn't look good. It looks terrible. Just my opinion. Well, I think I've pretty much done everything I can. Hang on. Is that a baby zombie? Do baby zombies die in the sunlight now? I thought they didn't. Oh, it's a witch. Hello, witch. Yeah. You got a wart. Yes. And your hat moves, I think. Yes, it does. They have a slightly wobbly hat. Well, yep, Well, if I had a name tag, I would name you Peanut. And Lola. One thing I will say about performance, and I haven't really been paying attention to the frame rate, is that while I've no doubt the frame rate has actually been fluctuating as it normally does, I have not seen it affect my experience of the game. It's actually done very well. To what extent that is a combination of Mojang's improvements, Vulkan, I don't know. But it's remained quite consistently nice. And I do remember when, doing fast travel like this. Oh no, you are still seeing some. You start seeing it loading in over there. Did they change the music? If anybody at any point would like to see me try a Let's Play, let me know. I don't mind giving that a Ash. I'm not about to do hardcore or I survived 100 days in fill in the blank. For that, I would go run Vintage Story. I survived 100 days in hardcore Vintage Story. Yeah, that would be much more my thing these days. So thank you for watching. Thank you for indulging this little experiment. I do appreciate it. I've probably got more investigation things to try at some point, but I have this little computer, this little Mac Mini. So far, has been a fantastic streaming device, and I must admit, I can't wait to get a proper capture card so that it takes over from the Linux system, the streaming aspect of it. Oh look, the cat even did a stretch. That's a nice one. So anyway, I hope everybody has a good rest of the weekend. Remember to hug your cats, your dogs, your Kubro, if you're Warframe players. I understand Warframe streamers don't tend to hug their Kubros. I do. It's a feature. Thank you for indulging me. Thanks for watching. Much appreciated. My schedule will be up shortly, but I stream Vintage Story early in the morning, followed by The Long Dark, and then the evenings I still haven't decided what I'm going to be streaming. I wouldn't be at all surprised if it was Soulframe tomorrow evening, to compensate for the fact that I didn't do a Soulframe stream this weekend. Anyhow, I will hopefully see you all next time.